to all the devotees for joining today, and a special gratitude and thanks to His Holiness Janananda Maharaj to come here for the second time. Maharaj is coming to our place.
Is it?
Yes, Maharaj. You've been here once.
When was that?
Maharaj, it has been a few years, I think. I can't remember exactly the year.
We were here once.
Huh?
I think in 6 years ago or something.
In this house?
Before COVID, not before COVID.
It could have been before COVID, yes.
Before COVID, yeah.
We all lost our brains during COVID. Yeah. It was like before COVID. The world existed before COVID. It did.
So Maharaj, this is our...
I came to a whole program in Hornby a long time ago.
Yes. Yes. We were there once as well. I think this was after that.
Yeah, it must have been. Hornby was a long time ago.
Yes.
Maybe 15 years.
Yeah. The Dipti was once 13 now. 13 years ago.
Yeah, before she was born.
Yeah, around that time.
Hornsby. So this is your temple, not yours, Krishna's temple, but you look after this temple here in Hornsby,
Yes, Maharaj.
right? Where your good wife, I guess I was talking to her just now. Your mother's here too.
Yes, Maharaj, that's my mother.
Good mother. Hare Krishna. Bhakti. Bhakti true Maharaj's disciple. Is that right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Your children are here.
Yes, Maharaj.
Where are they?
That's Dhruv, he's here. Come please
What's your
forward.
good name, young man? Your son's name?
Dhruv, Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj. It is Dhruv Maharaj. And I didn't catch your name. What is
My
it?
name is Pranaveshwar Krishna Das.
Pranaveshwara Krishna Das.
Pranaveshwar.
Pranaveshwar. Tiny, oh, maybe I give it to you.
They have a
Tiny
daughter as
little,
well.
tiny little donation here for the HKCCC temple building.
Oh, very, very good.
Not for one or two bricks, maybe. We're using bricks, maybe. Who's the treasurer?
She's not here.
Kala Mataji.
I was not here.
Maharaj, they have a daughter as well.
Do you have a daughter too?
Maharaj,
Oh,
is Shivi there? Please come here.
Oh, you're
Offer your obeisances to Maharaj.
So Dhruva
And
and
Shivi.
Shivi?
Yes, Maharaj.
Shivi. Hare Krishna Shivi. And what are the two children doing? Are they still school or university?
Yes, Maharaj. Son is going to go in university this year.
Ah,
So he's doing psychology from
oh, better be careful.
University of Sydney.
College. We're going to be in trouble. I hope you're a good daddy. Be careful,
And she's in year 10 now.
Year 10.
Yes, Maharaj.
What are you doing? Studying school, is it? And you're going to go, what does that mean? They're like a few more years before they go to university, is it?
Before Shivi goes to university, Dhruv is already in university.
He's already in.
Yes, Maharaj.
You know, it's a funny thing now. It's almost like automatic that almost all the youth, they all go to university now. Isn't it?
All of them go to
Almost
university.
all, isn't it? You can't get a job unless you got a degree these days, can you?
No, Maharaj.
Even if you want to be a pot washer in a restaurant, you have to have a degree in something or another.
Yes, Maharaj.
Health and cleanliness or something. It's ridiculous. What to do? That's how it is. Yeah. Nowadays, very few children went to university. Most 90, I would say 90% children started working at 16 at the latest. 16 you start working. That was, during my time. Anyway, maybe more, maybe 20% would go forward to high school, what we call high school now, 16 to 18. And of those, maybe 5% will go to university. So not more than, I would say 2 to 3% of the population will go to university. And it's almost everyone, no?
Everyone.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And they're struggling to get a job, Maharaj, even after going to university.
They're struggling, are they? That's good, is it? There's a course at university, how to struggle in this world. It's called. How to struggle and survive. How to survive in the struggle. Yeah. I think sometimes, often many of the, of course we're not in that category, but many of the really successful people in the world never went to college. They don't even, they're hardly educated. They just know what they're doing. They know right from birth what they're doing. They know how to exploit the world. We have to learn how to exploit it, isn't it? Become an expert exploiter. Yeah. What can we say? You all be begging door to door, give me a job, give me a job, give me a job. I've got a degree, yeah, so does everybody else. That's the problem, everyone else has got one too. In those days, if you had a degree, it was like, you know, it really meant something, you know. What to do? What to do? The world we live in, we have to live with the times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call. So is the group closely here now? Your group? If you're
Yes, Maharaj.
Youth.
young,
The who's leading the youth team, he's the member of the youth.
he's the big youth.
And the Mataji to put together.
That's good. So you normally host the program here, do you?
Maharaj, it is 5 or 6 homes, and they host every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
In Hornsby.
Not necessarily here, but near the temple as well. We are doing in Rouseville,
Yeah, we went
Quakers.
there the other day. So it's not the same place every week.
No,
Places.
we keep rotating.
You rotate. The young devotees, they go if they want to the different venues, do they?
Yes, we keep it closer to most of the population, so that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not inconvenient.
How many of you live near here in Hornsby? Anybody? What does that mean?
This is the farthest they come, Maharaj. This was kept for your convenience, Maharaj, because you are staying in temple. So we thought this will be a little more convenient for you, Maharaj.
Well, I thought you had program in Hornsby regularly.
Yes,
Yeah, whole food.
yes, sir.
Not the youth program. Youth program is where?
Youth program normally, where are we doing, Arvind? Rouseville type.
Same place we were the other day, huh?
Same place or different?
No, it's in different devotees' houses.
House.
In Rouse Hill.
Mm.
So many of you are from the Rouse Hill side, are you? Who's that side? Blacktown, Rouse Hill, this thing, that thing. Is it? Most of you are from over there.
How many were there?
How many from that side of the town? Yes, about
If I'd known, we could have easily gone over that way. It doesn't take long. It takes 40 minutes to go there. 45 minutes. And all you had to come here for 40 minutes or whatever to get here. Anyway, it's too late now unless we all go over there. It won't take us long to get back. Janananda lives all over. You live here, right? You and your family live in this house.
yes, Maharaj.
In your house.
Yes, Maharaj.
And he lives all the way over there too.
Yes, he is also. Prabhu would have traveled 40 minutes.
Yeah, more
No,
or less.
no, it was that was about
It
26,
doesn't take long.
26 minutes.
Yeah, that, for that tunnel,
No, sorry. Of course.
maybe, but that tunnel, we went from Rose Hill to Newcastle last week for a program in the Bhakti tree. And believe me, I couldn't believe it. We were way past Hornsby after about less than 40 minutes, and it was like, we thought it'd be rush hour. We left at like 4 in the afternoon, and there was no traffic. We were on the highway way past Hornsby. The tunnel goes way past Hornsby. We were way up there on the motorway, whatever you call it. It was really quick, wasn't it, Vasika? Really quick. I didn't even notice it.
And you recall me traveling 120Y in 2002 because I used to go from place to place.
Oh, so many. We used to go all over Sydney. He used to take me everywhere, this man. 20 places in one day sometimes. It was like bizarre, 10 minutes in each house,
It was fun, though. But
It was fun. I can't do it anymore, neither can you probably either. Yeah, it was wild, Didn't know where we were going, just house after house after house after house. Visiting them. I don't know, maybe, I don't think they came here. Maybe they weren't.
we
No.
did not all the time. Those days, every day.
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
I used to forget the road. He used to stop me and get the map. And tell
Oh
me.
yeah, because there was no GPS then. It was all by map book.
And then I used to change in the car, and the next door, one time there's some people from Mediterranean people, they came, they came next to us and they started chanting, we're driving next to each other.
Yeah,
So they were dancing and
he remembered all these sweet memories. He's got so many. We were together in New Zealand also.
Right.
He was one of the main instruments in the building of the temple in Auckland. He was their electrician of the project there. He did all the work. He would work during the day, then he'd come at night, stay up very late at night with bringing lamps and things to work with electricity in the new temple there. How many of you have been to Auckland? You've seen the temple in Auckland? Nice temple. Well, Sachi was the engineer there. Not engineer, the electrician there. So I guess you're overseeing electrics in the new temple here. Krishna willing. We won't have any problems with the electrics now. He's one of the men in the big electric company here in Sydney.
He still does the wiring for the Janananda.
Where?
Not Sydney.
Oh, you come there to do electricity.
we do all this.
That's very nice. This is how it works. Most of you are going to get a degree. You're going to get a degree, you're going to get a career. Maybe you're leaving us already.
They're just putting some stuff in the car.
You're leaving to work.
No, I'm coming back.
That's what it means. Krishna consciousness. It's a matter of consciousness, it's not a matter of what you do. I mean, obviously to a certain extent, because if you don't want to be a butcher or something like that. But some kind of, selling liquor or something, those things are not very favourable. Although sometimes you're forced by time, place and circumstance, but that's not what we want. There's something you may have to end up being IT or engineer, or I know what you're all doing. Anyone here at university? Anyone at uni? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Psychology.
A lot of people have problems with that. all the youth is taking psychology around. They think their parents need a little bit of help or something.
That's what the demand is.
There's a big demand, in the community. Yeah, I don't know his name. What are you doing?
Me?
Linda.
Yeah.
Psychology.
I don't know if I want to ask you. What do you have to do with the psychology degree? What are you going to do with it?
Become a counselor.
Hang it on the wall, okay.
Become a counselor.
Become a counsellor. In the local council?
No, like help people and stuff. Like become a psychologist.
There's a lot of need for counselling these days. Anyone else at university? What are you doing?
I do law and business.
Pardon?
Law and business.
Law and business.
It's more spiritual.
You might need a psychologist now. Who else is doing what else? Anyone else at uni? You at university?
I'm studying.
At university you have to study as well. You're not all party at university. You have to, you're not yet, and you're going to go to university. What do you want to do?
I'm doing Bachelor of Science, something in
Bachelor of
General.
Science.
Huh?
Bachelor of Science.
Yeah, so that can mean anything. I did a Bachelor of Science, but my degree was in geography. Doesn't sound very scientific. Anyone else at uni?
700 you did? 7?
Yeah, I'm doing law and psychology.
Oh, now you combine the two. Rich, right in between. Law and psychology, really, psychology. Anyone else? Law and psychology, that's like a combined degree, or what is it? They're
Double
not the same
degree.
thing. Huh?
A double degree. Yeah, I
Two degrees. Anybody else? They're getting embarrassed. Yeah.
I'm doing cybersecurity.
Cyber security. Cyber security.
Security, online security.
Oh, I see. Something to do with computers and
Yeah, cyber.
cyber security. You know where to go to then. Check. And anyone else? You at university? No.
What's my uni last year?
Pardon?
I finished my
What did you degree? What did you graduate in?
nursing.
Nursing, there we go.
Yeah, that's what me.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
Down to earth, very good. You'll be a nurse?
Yeah, I am working as a nurse.
Working as a nurse, very good. And at the back there?
I'm a speech pathologist. I did my degree 3 years ago.
Speech. You teach people how to talk.
You help help people with speech defects?
to go closer to.
I'm not getting any answers.
speech defect. Maharaj asking
Yeah,
a lot of people.
yeah, and also people with disabilities like autism, Down syndrome,
Yeah.
or stroke, post-stroke recovery and stuff.
We have to move in there. More will come from Rose Hill. What about this side? I don't know if we covered all that side. Maybe you went to university?
Yeah, I'm doing business colors. Yeah, I said law and psychology.
Oh, you moved on, you just moved on. I probably asked somebody over there, I don't know if it was ever you. What about this gentleman on this side? What are you all doing?
Sham, what are you doing?
At the back, what are you up to? Yeah.
I'm still in 12.
Year 12. Year 12. It's year 12.
Sham, what are you
What do you want to do?
Sham.
Yeah?
Is that good like Maharaj in it?
Yeah. Maharaj and
Moving house or something?
Setting the mic on.
Okay. What are you doing in
What's he
university?
doing?
He's just year 12. He has no idea.
No idea. An honest person. Some honest person doesn't know what he's doing. And next to you?
Maharaj, I study, I'm not going to say computer science, software engineering.
Software engineering.
I study engineering, mechatronics.
Electrical engineering.
Mechatronics.
Mechatronics. Mechatronics. Mechanical.
Mechanical engineering. Yeah.
Mechanical engineering.
Also mechanical. The boys are all on the engineering side by the looks of it. Looks like. Yeah?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm in year 2.
Year 12. And then university, what do you want to do?
Maharaj, I want to pursue baking for Maharaj.
Baking.
Yes, sir.
Baking. Did I hear it correctly? Baking. Amazing.
It's a course.
Amazing. Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Baking. I don't meet many bakers these days. Yes.
I'm doing Masters of Finance.
Masters of Finance.
Oh, yeah.
You've already done your degree
I have, yes.
in economics or what?
And I did my degree in accounting management.
Accounting.
Accounting management.
Well, I just started a year ago.
You have to decide what you want to do, yeah?
Probably electrical engineering.
Electrical. Inspiration there. Get the job when you finish.
That's where I just started in
What you like?
finance, something with the
Financial.
Oh, psychology.
Ah! Yeah, long way away from psychology.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I teach English to migrants, adult migrants.
Migrants? They do come with not very good English.
Sometimes they come with fantastic English, the government just doesn't want them to know about it.
They have to go through a course too.
Yeah. We had a fellow from Manchester had to do an exam the other day.
Amazing. Yeah, they have to go back. Do you remember in New Zealand, Purushottam Thakur from Malaysia?
Yes.
He's been teaching all his life in England and Malaysia. He had a degree from England, in all kinds of teaching. When he came here, he had to go through a 4-year course before he learned to teach over here. He's not too old for that. He's too old to end up working at a show. Yeah, it's strange. What to do? Well, it's nice to be with you all. Those who I haven't asked. probably a few you I haven't asked. What do you study?
Studying life.
Life is in a course of life. What about death?
That's the
That's
next.
the next stage. How to die, that's interesting. That'd be an interesting course, but how to die. One thing how to live, it's another thing how to die. You're all thinking how to live, which is natural. It's also one of those things about life, preparing to die. I'm sure you've all, even at young age, you've experienced some family members who passed away. Everyone, in due course of time, whatever we are, whatever we do, pass away. Good. So where's our host?
Yes, Maharaj.
I can't go. Pranesh.
Pranaveshwar.
Pranaveshwar.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Prabhu. What do you want us to do?
So Maharaj, this is ISKCON West Sydney Youth Group, and there are more devotees. Today being a work day, some of them couldn't join, but they are very keen to hear from you, Maharaj, whatever topic you pick. Or
I haven't picked any topic. I haven't really thought about it. I don't usually have time to think about these things.
maybe they can ask questions, Maharaj.
They can if they want. They won't get any answers maybe, but at least they can ask questions. Something burning? Is that our baker? Is that our baker?
Yes, Maharaj,
Is
my
that the
wife is.
baker? The baker? He hasn't finished his degree yet, so we'll forgive it. Well, I mean, what we started with basically was that everything can be engaged. We started with Janananda for what do you do? What's your profession?
I'm in technology, Maharaj.
What's that?
Information technology. I'm a consultant.
He's a director of a company.
I'm in Deloitte, Maharaj. I work as a consultant.
Deloitte. He's a consultant and director. You're a director, aren't you?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Wow, big boat, big boat.
Big boss.
Company director. Ooh.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
But very humble.
Yeah, yes. Sure. Information technology.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. So I'm sure you found ways to connect that with Krishna consciousness, have you?
Yes, Maharaj.
How do you do that?
Maharaj, work I believe is important because work is the duty. That's number one from Bhagavad Gita. And to sustain the family in Krishna consciousness, money is important as a grihastha. And so I put my best effort in my work so that I do a good job and earn good money, try to keep my job, and so that I can sustain my Krishna consciousness and Krishna consciousness of my family. And the plan is to retire as soon as possible so that I can devote all my time to Krishna.
Retire before you're 80. What's the retirement age now here?
67.
67? Not so much. We were somewhere the other day, they told us it's up to 70. They keep, well, not here in summer. They keep pushing it up, 67. You still got a few years to go or not?
Yes, Maharaj, I will be turning 50 soon.
Oh,
So,
you're a
yeah.
man.
3 more years to go.
You're a man. But you know, Abraham Lincoln, have you heard of him?
Yes.
I mean, President of the United States, one of the famous ones, isn't he? I don't think Washington was the first, wasn't he? I don't know, George Washington.
George Washington, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was fairly soon after, I think. He was supposed to be a pretty good president, I heard. But I heard, you can correct me, I may be wrong, but I heard he was quite old when he became the president. And what I read, and again, people like things, they said he didn't really make the grade for most of his life. He was a bit of a failure. Most things he did. And he said that I didn't ever see it as a failure. I was just learning how not to do it. And eventually he became the president. It was like failed, and then boom, president. More or less. But he said it's not the years in your life, but the life in your years. You may live 100 years, but what really counts is the life in your years. course, we always cite Jesus Christ, or Buddha, Shankaracharya, even Lord Chaitanya. Physically speaking, they didn't maintain a long lifespan, 30, 40 years or whatever it was. But not so long. Even in, I was just in Atlanta. Have you been to Atlanta in America? USA, I should say. Don't get upset when you say this is USA, it's not America. Anyway, that's not what part of the world you live in. But Atlanta, famous person came from there. Do you know that one? Famous person. Who really influenced, I mean, you know, to what extent, of course, it's just a slip, tiny flip in history, but in, I don't know what years it was, must be the middle of last century, I guess. He had quite a big influence on the, you know, let's say the, excuse me sniffing, but there's something burning. What is it?
Maharaj, my wife is cooking.
Your wife is burning. Okay. Smell. Gonna do something quick.
Anuradha, can you cook?
What's that smell?
What is the smell that is coming? Maharaj is
Strange
something is
smell.
burning. Something is burning.
No, I have switched on the oven, Maharaj, so maybe that will be the reason. I
The oven.
use oven quite a lot, so maybe something must be burning inside. I will
Something's
check.
burning in the oven. Okay.
I'll check it.
We won't go any further.
Someone is outside.
No problem. So, who was that famous person from Atlanta? Famous person. Nobody knows? I'll give you initials. MLK. Martin Luther
Martin
King.
Luther King.
They have a massive museum. I didn't see it. They were trying to push me into those. Yeah, not into those. But we respect him. You know, he was a man of principle. But apparently, I don't know exactly, but he was really young when he got assassinated. Right, they shot him. But he revolutionized much of the thinking of, you know, Americans, maybe worldwide. He was a real national hero. I think he's well known all over the world. I'm not sure. And what would you say? Independence fighter, civil rights. I don't know. But you know, for the people, you know, to help uplift people. He was a real man. He was fearless. But he didn't live very long. Very short life. What he did in those few years, immaterial. Some people try and do something good. But the tremendous effect. And it's really the years, the life in our years that we really value. Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam said, what's the use of a long life, isn't it? Hundreds and thousands. The trees live 5,000 years or more, some of them. They have these redwood trees. Have you ever seen the redwood trees? California? I'm sure it's 7,000 years old, I'm told, some of those trees. They're wider than this, much wider than this. Cars, they make tunnels in them. These cars go through them. Road goes through them. Huge. I've seen a redwood, but I've not seen those ones. In fact, it's huge. 7,000, they say. Maybe more than 7,000 years ago. But, you know, okay, you provided some interesting things with tunnel to go through. What is that? Not a big deal. What's the use of living 7,000 years as a tree? Better to live, you know, really value your life. So we can actually perfect life. Just like, and I won't be able to get it tonight,
Pranaveshwar.
Pranaveshwara. Excuse me.
No, no.
I've not heard that name before. Pranaveshwara, I know, I've got cycle of that name. But Pranaveshwara. 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 Is showing us, or telling us a little bit about his feelings towards the man who's responsible, both in occupation and family, and also devotee. I presume your spiritual master, is your spiritual master actually true, Maharaj?
Yes, Maharaj.
A wonderful spiritual master. So even though he's working, presumably you're a busy man, I don't know. Still you find time for chanting Hare Krishna. Still you find time for studying Prabhupada's books. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Still you find time to be involved in the new temple project, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, he's one of the AC members.
You're one of the committee members there also. It's a busy man indeed. We're not all the same, you could say, quantity. We don't have all the same capacity. Everyone's different. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Don't try to imitate others. Try to do what you're inspired to do positively. And try to do it in relation. Learn how to do it in relation to Krishna. Sachinanda. Sachinanda's a little bit older than you, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
He's just tomorrow he turns 30, that's why he's 30 tomorrow? Yeah. What do you do? What's your occupation? I guess you all know, but tell me.
I'm operations manager for Endeavor Energy.
So, an operations manager for
Endeavor Energy.
Endeavor Energy. Maybe you've heard of that. Is that one of the companies that kind of manages the electricity in Sydney or something?
Yes, Western City.
Which part?
Western City.
Oh, that's where the temple is.
Yes. That's how I do it.
Over the western side.
Part of Parramatta.
Pardon?
Part of Parramatta.
Parramatta.
And from south.
And southern.
All along and also for the mountains, big area.
Big area. So he's the operations manager. It sounds like a big responsibility. If electricity goes off, he's the man. Answer for it, you know. Go. What's going on? The responsibilities. Also, of course, he's had his family life. They're all grown up now. And I've known him, I suppose, for about 30 years. 1990, so more than 35 years. And, you know, even then he was very busy. We used to go to his house. He had a house in a place called Papatoto. This is from an English pronunciation. If you're teaching English, you think it would say Papatoto.
Not in Australia, Maharaj.
Pardon?
Not in Australia, Maharaj.
No, what would they say?
Probably potato.
Potato. He lived in potato. Potato. Huh? Okakoi is famous for potatoes. But Papatui, they call it Papatui. Papatui. In Malay, Maori name. But Papa Toto is sinful toes. Place of sinful toes. Papa. Toto. But he was preaching there even then, you know, he had Namahat going on in his house. He would come to the temple all the time to fix the electricity. And whatever else he was asked to do, pot washing, anything. It's amazing, isn't it? How wonderful opportunities are there. And many of you are going to be doing, obviously, you're already voice pathology?
Speech pathology.
Speech. Yeah, helping, and that's a very valuable, and even in our own movement, there are many autistic children. Many. I mean, in Madhavi, she has guys. He's doing really well, by the way. He's doing incredibly well. He's at Kirtan every day. He's really doing well. Obviously, you're limited by certain faculties, say whatever, imbalances or whatever. But yes, different services we can render to related to Krishna, especially if we're doing any of these engineering things, sample projects, housing projects, building housing projects, or whatever else, I don't know, different things. If you're doing psychology, I don't know if you're going to go into this department or that, counseling. All the time there's so much, these days particularly, all kinds of people need, you know, guidance, need help with traumas and so many things they've had. Frankly, in the West, it's just a common thing, isn't it? Maybe in India it's not, but we're finding that many Indian, especially when they come to the West, they're faced with this challenge, isn't it? Adjustment to the West is difficult. You're coming out of a culture which doesn't really delve into these things. It's kind of hush-hush type thing. You come to the West and you're like a whole different thing. Very difficult to adjust sometimes. But you need to adjust because you're in a society which does not keep hush-hush. It's a society we've had different paradigms, different kind of culture. And if you're doing law, obviously there's plenty of scope. Who's a lawyer? Where's the lawyer from?
No, it's
Are you a lawyer? You're a law man. You're also a lawyer. Before lawyer.
Sorry, what?
Also a lawyer. Lady lawyer or law? Not law S. Not law S. A lawyer. And Acacia, he's also. As I mentioned, maybe if you were there or not, I don't know, the other day in Rouse Hill, but right now he's in Mayapur, he's investing in the GBC right now in Mayapur. He's representing ISKCON Law Department, already 20 years old. Of course he's under Devaki, I don't know Devaki Nanda. He's the ISKCON in charge of
Yes,
ISKCON
he's
Law.
been here a few times. He came here a few
Did he
times.
come?
Maharaj was there.
Yeah. I know him since 1980s. And so like this, learn, it's not Krishna consciousness is there and the rest of everything else is over there. Krishna's just as much there as he is there. You just got to see him in everything we do. Very simple. Whether we're teaching English to immigrants, whatever it is, there's a way, or whether we support the Chicago Bulls. Are they a football team or a basketball team? Basketball team. You play basketball.
Yeah, for recreation.
You don't play for the Chicago Bulls.
No.
They love their basketball in America. We've had devotees also who've been, professional athletes and professional sportsmen in devotees and practice devotion. One of my friends, his son plays international football. He's an international football. He's a devotee. His son's a devotee. International football plays for the country. He plays in Sweden, but he represents Costa Rica or some of those countries. And one of my friends, his name was Peter Burwash. Have you ever heard of Peter Burwash? Ever heard of Peter Burwash? There's lots of books out. I don't know if you've got them. He's written a lot of books on, I don't know, I can't remember what they're called, but especially for young people who are looking for a career and want to be Krishna conscious. He specialized in that. He was an international tennis player. He played for Canada. You met a lady, didn't you, in Paris, who was playing for Canada in tennis, didn't you? Tennis?
It was basketball.
It was basketball. Olympics, she was in Paris. We saw her with Bhagavan Gita. She was an international basketball player at the Olympics in Paris. So anyway, Peter Burwash, he was a lovely man. And he met Prabhupada in 1975, I think, in Canada. At that time, he retired from playing, but he was the Canadian tennis coach. He was the coach to the Canadian tennis team. You don't usually go too old. It's tennis is pretty intense sport. Anyway, I don't know how old he was, probably in his 30s at that time. Maybe he was still playing. I think he was retired, I don't know how he told me. But anyway, he talked to Prabhupada and he asked Prabhupada, just like George Harrison, everyone's heard of George Harrison, of course. Prabhupada told him, no, you carry on with your music. He asked him, should I give it up? Should I join the ashram? He asked Prabhupada. Peter Burwash asked the same thing. Prabhupada said, no, you carry on. You play your tennis, you coach tennis, whatever you're doing. And he taught him how to do that for Krishna. Exactly what he did in that choice, I think. How to be Krishna conscious. And later on, he started a whole school. And he taught, he was a very big man in PETA, which is a vegetarian, international vegetarian thing. And he was a big man there, and he used to go all over the world. But he would also go all over the world teaching, coaching tennis. He had three things going: PETA, tennis coaching, and he was also a life coach. Life coach? So helping people find their goals in life. It's important to know where we're going in life, isn't it? Pretty important. you don't know where you're going, you know where you're going to get. We should at least have an idea where we're going. What is our goal in life? I know all of you will say probably something spiritual, I would imagine. For most people it wouldn't generally be something spiritual, it could be something material. Which at least they have, if you don't have any goal, it's pretty hard, isn't it? Let's say basketball, we'll take the situation as an example. If you don't know what the goal, what's the goal of basketball?
You gotta shoot the ball in the hoop.
Yeah, there's this hoop, this hoop. This is kind of, it's like a hot step up from netball. Do the girls still play netball? That's cool. The girls used to play netball and the boys would play football. There's only the two sports. All the girls play netball. They wouldn't play any other sport, just netball. They weren't allowed to play football or cricket or rugby or anything like that. It was unheard of. Totally unheard of. It was looked down upon as disgusting if a girl was playing football. Nowadays they all play football. More than the boys. Boys are playing netball. Anyway, it's something similar to basketball. Not quite so intense. You've got to get the ball in the loop, right? If you don't know that, you're not going to win. You may be a brilliant basketball player, but if you don't know what the goal is, you're not going to win the game, are you? Whether it's football or basketball or netball, you've got to know what the goal is. You're going to be kicking the ball around all day long, beating everyone to the tackle and passing excellently and whatever. You're not going to win the game. You've got to know what the goal is. Kick the ball in the referee's face is not the goal of the game. You're never very good at that. Isn't it? You got to know what you're doing. Human beings, I mean, they follow. 99% follow. They don't really know where they're going. They just follow. Job, money, do this, do that. Otherwise, you don't get the job, you don't get the money. And people just follow. Very innocent, simple lifestyle. So there's that goal materially, but the spiritual goal, which is really, that's the challenge, isn't it? Material is difficult sometimes. That's why there's so many people with traumas and depression and all kinds of things nowadays. I don't know about in Australia, but there's in America, I heard that almost half the people in America are on some kind of drug of some kind.
We don't famous swimmer, Ian Thorpe, and he, I think, 5 gold medals, and he went into depression.
People are very successfully. Many of the most, you'll find in the world today, many of the most successful people, suicide is higher, drug addiction is higher, even crime. They're bored. They're simply bored. It's just for fun. They do stupid things. I don't know, say off. Even now, the richest family in the UK, the next generation, are all in jail right now. They're multi-billionaires. Indians. They're all Indians. Hindus. They're in jail. There's a little slightly different reason, but maybe they got paid, they bailed themselves out or paid their way out, I guess they did. But, you know, oftentimes they do that. They just boil with it. Because they have no Krishna consciousness. The Prabhupada said to Big Lord, you carry on with what you're doing, and you teach others. Practice, and whenever you get the chance, you show that you can do this and be Krishna conscious. Most people don't know that. They think Hare Krishna, you're just some dropouts. You're lazy dropouts, parasites. Isn't it? You ever heard that before? You Hare Krishna, that they don't know you're well, you were in the office, the director of the company. Hey. And what's your other name? What do they call you at work?
Pranav.
At work, they call you Pranav. That was your name before Pranav?
Yes.
Hey Pranav, you're a Hindu. Those Hare Krishnas are a bunch of parasites. Every time I see them, they come up and ask me for money on the street. Push those books in my face. I'm fed up with this, Hindus are like that. What's wrong with you guys? Why don't they get a job and do something useful? People say that. Quite frequently. Well, funny you should say that. I'm a Hare Krishna. You're a Hare Krishna? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm working. You're my boss. To show that you can be a Hare Krishna, this is big preaching. Big preaching. You don't have to ram it down people's throats. Just by your example. Show by example. You can be a devotee of Krishna and hear that divers they choose the same line you like. That's okay. Vasikananda is traveling with me. We've met before, I don't know Vasikananda Prabhu. He's from New Zealand, but he's a professional dentist. Dentist. He graduated in Dunedin in the medical college. He was working in England also for quite a while as a dentist. In New Zealand also. He's traveling, well, he may be changing his life a little bit at this point in his life. And we'll see what happens. But you can do everything in Krishna. I mean, in relation, everything is nothing is separate from Krishna. Nothing. Just about seeing. In the beginning stages, you kind of tend to, make that cut. This is all Maya, and this is, don't talk to your mother, don't talk to your father, don't work, don't look at the carnies, they're all demons, they're all carnies. They're all meat eaters. They're going to hell. It's like that fanatic kind of approach. You're scared, stupid. Maybe I'll become disturbed if I talk to them. Whatever it is. It is kind of. But when you realize actually everyone's the same quality, it's just a different covering, that's all. They may have a different identity, they may call themselves Christian or Hindu or atheist. Underneath the surface, everyone's basically the same quality. And the more we find ourselves in society, the more you become balanced, more kind of grounded, if you want to call it that. But Krishna conscious, they say, it's Krishna conscious, and people, they say, you've got your head in the clouds. You heard that saying? You've got your head in the clouds. But there's one famous, I think he was a psychologist, he said there's nothing wrong with having your head in the clouds as long as your feet are on the ground. Not bad. It's good. If your feet are on the ground, your head is in the clouds, you've got both ends in place. You can elevate, but at the same time, relate and elevate. Yeah, like that. So that's the idea. Prabhupada foresaw this. He didn't foresee this movement. When we hear that Srila Prabhupada, one astrologer said, let's build a house for the whole world to live in, it didn't mean you all have to shave your heads, or ladies don't need to shave your hair rather than your head. Don't shave your head, shave your hair. And but ladies don't do that. But you don't have to all move in a temple. The temples have to be like, be able to accommodate 500 million people or something. How many people in Australia? 26,
27 million?
Something like that, whatever. It's 20, 30 million. It's not that everyone has to live in the temple. Maybe a few live in the temple, but everyone can be connected. What is the purpose of a temple? What is its purpose? Tell me, some of you youngsters. What's the purpose of the temple?
To grow in bhakti and association.
That's a nice perspective, nice realization, nice understanding. To grow in bhakti, in the association of others who are also interested in growing in bhakti. It's natural. If you want to drink, you go to associate with drinkers. Otherwise, if you want to be a basketball player, you go to the basketball, whatever, team, club, whatever it's called. If you want, whatever you want to do, you generally associate with similar-minded persons. If you want, especially if you want to grow or be a part of a team or whatever it is. So what else would you say is the purpose of the temples that Prabhupada established and wanted us to establish in different parts of the world? He wanted every temple. Did I mention that the other day? That I read the letter what the devotee sent me the other day. Prabhupada wrote a letter to one of your early devotees here, Mother Visa. In the letter he said, I want tens of thousands of temples in Australia.
Shaman's place. The shaman's place.
I can't remember reading that before. It's right there in the letters of Prabhupada. What he means, that's another thing, it doesn't mean build big buildings called temples. He's referring to also homes. Everyone's home and temple. So what else? Let's get to we're talking mostly right now about the public temple. So what else is the purpose of public temple? It could be a home temple. Let's focus on public.
Spiritual education.
Spiritual education, association and cultivation, education, anything. These are, you could say, ongoing things that the temple, we hope the temple will provide. But anything else? What's the purpose of the temple? Yes.
Bring non-devotees also to the temple.
Very good. A place where persons who are not familiar with Krishna consciousness can become familiar, can connect with Krishna. Yes?
A place to take darshan of the deities.
Place to take darshan of the deities. All kinds of persons. Nobody, we were looking at those pictures just now. I never forget in Auckland. I was in Auckland for quite a few years. And we used to get these, what's that group of retired people? What's their names? Yeah, all over the place. We used to get, I can't remember, they got a name. This kind of organization for retired people. And they have the outings, these mystery outings. They don't know where they're going till they get there. Kind of fun for old people, you know. They go to the winery, you know, that's the highlight of the day. They go to a lot of wineries, a lot of wine things around New Varshan and Auckland. Or they go to the restaurant, the one at the end, that one on the corner, they all the fresh veg, fruits and veggies. Maybe they go somewhere else. And on that particular journey, they bring them into New Varshan. They go to the school, a nice school there. You need a school here. Yeah, the cows. You need a school in Sydney. I'm amazed you don't have a school down here. All the youngsters. Anyway, that's another thing. So they go to the school. That's the highlight for most of the elderly people when they see all the little children, you know, devotee children specifically, and they're all studying. And then they even put, let's say to the kid, so can you tell me what 9 times 21 is? And things like that. And the child tells, and they're very impressed. You know, little things like that, and they're impressed. They really feel good. Then they come to the temple. We keep the curtains closed, and we give a speech. We talk, we chat a little bit. Usually about 50 of them come. And then right at the end, we open the curtains, because many of them are Christians. The older generation are mostly Christians. So we didn't want to shock them in the beginning, so we shocked them at the end. They see the idols, you know, it's a little bit much for them. But most of the time, mostly, I'd say almost exclusively, they were absolutely stunned when they saw the altar. They would stand, they'd never seen anything like it. Oh, they're so beautiful, they would say things like this. What is it? It's so beautiful. Can I take a picture? So most of them are very pious, you know, some old people. They're taking pictures. They didn't have mobiles in those days, or cameras, you know. And it was so nice to see the old people. They just like kids, you know, like little children, basically. Isn't it very sweet? And then we take them to the sadhana. They all buy these, because most of them have got arthritis or something. They all buy these copper bracelets, you know. Some of them will buy some candles or incense. Some will even buy books. All these types of things. And this way they're getting exposed to Krishna Sadhana. And I don't know, some of them may not have survived after the sadhana. 80, 85, 90 years old. And they taste a little bit of halwa and they couldn't stop, you know. They just keep eating the cream and halwa. I don't. Maybe they didn't survive long after that. Someone exposing people who never come to the temple said Krishna's brought them along. That was so nice. Huh? very funny experiences with those elderly people. What else? Giving people a chance who never come. You've got to give them a chance. Well, sometimes you get some little funny person in a temple this afternoon. I told you, didn't I, Janananda?
Yeah.
I went down to the temple about, I don't know what time it was.
After.
4, 5. Just about
That's
5.
after 4:30.
It was after 8, until 5, just after 5. And there's this one man, an Indian man, and I don't know, I thought he was having an epileptic fit at first. He was like, his arms were flying around like this. And then I got to, what's going on? He was shouting up and down. Whoa, wow, wow. Actually, there I am! I've never seen anything. I didn't even know his wife was just motionless, just all the other guests were like I tried to speak to her, I went up to her. You okay? I calmed down, but he got louder when I said it. I didn't know what to do now. He was quite strong looking, you know. So we kind of like, just didn't know you don't know what's going on inside him, yeah? He was having some emotional outpouring, strong. After about 5 or 10 minutes, he kind of, he went on his knees and quite started patting him. I don't know if he'd been to the temple before. Maybe someone should talk to him. It's nice to have such, emotional attraction. Really explain. But somehow or another, I mean, one of the funniest ones I can ever remember about this was back in about 1975. I'd just given a class at the back to the Vedanta Manor, the Bhagavatam class. And after the class, I think I was the temple commander at that time, I went in to sort out the flowers and just returned from the flower market. And every day, every twice a week, somebody would go to the flower market to get flowers. So the flower room was right next to the temple. Everyone else left for breakfast. So I went in to sort the flowers out. And I came out, I had the shock of my life. There was no one in the temple except for one boy. There was this hippie boy, I think he was high on drugs. Somehow or another, he turned up for class. And I don't know what he was in, long hair, scruffy looking fellow. And I came out of the temple because the class was a verse which said we should surrender everything to Krishna. Whatever you possess should be used or given offered to Krishna in devotion. He was stood there, stark naked, in front of the deities. He put all of his dirty clothes, including his socks, right in front of the deity. He was stood there naked. All kinds of interesting ways that people surrender to Krishna, connect to Krishna. Amazing.
So Maharaj, remember when you were the temple president in New Zealand, you had asked me to go and see this lady from Africa and see things somebody's done voodoo on her. Remember you used to go?
Oh, the voodoo, yeah.
Yeah, remember you used to ask to go and see her?
Yeah.
And then one day you sent me the prashadam. I went there, and then the son came out and said, "Oh, don't come, because some people from Christian, they have come here to do some prayers, you know." Then I come and told you, and then a few years later, when I met you in Texas, I said, "Maharaj, do you remember the story that she became a Christian?" You said, "No, she's your disciple now." I said, Maharaj, we thought she became a Christian, but Maharaj said, "No, she's become a disciple." Yeah.
Come on, very.
And the other person who was a Maori, and he took me there in Takanini, and we gave some prashadam. And the next day, a week, 2 weeks later, I think you had gone traveling then, you went overseas. Then I went with prashadam to his place, because he was asking a lot of questions. Then he told me, start preaching to me, he said that Christians can only go as far as the heavenly planets, they can't go beyond. But you saw in Bhagavatam, when he said that way, I said, "No, Bhagavatam," so wow. He said, "In Bhagavatam, you can go beyond that to God's planet."
Ghost planets.
No, God. Krishna's planet.
Krishna, I said ghost planets.
God's planet.
You can't get wrong.
Then he said to me, I said, "How you know this?" Then he showed me a set of Bhagavatam, which you recommended to him. He had got it from temple, he was reading that. Within 2 weeks, he knew the philosophy behind.
There you go. Everything's there in the Bhagavatam. People somehow or another can receive the Srimad Bhagavatam. And even if they don't read the Bhagavatam, the fact that it's sitting in their house, it has this amazing effect, on their lives. Srimad Bhagavatam. What is another purpose of the temple?
Life coaching, understanding the whole of life.
Life coaching, that's going to a deep level, isn't it? Generally, life coaching is more in terms of your life in this world, but the goal of all of life is a high point. We have a devotee in New Zealand also who used to, up now, Papa Sambhava, isn't it? He was a coach also in a certain way, life coach, not a businessman. He was a businessman himself for some time. And he used to teach from Bhagavad Gita. So did Peter Bruwash. He used to teach from Bhagavad Gita, life coaching. Not just how to, maintain and balance your life and so on, but also how to understand the deep purposes of life. And he would use Bhagavad Gita directly. Many other things. I think this Avatar movie, is it Avatar? And quite a few of these New Age movies things are based on certain principles of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and so on. And the many inspirations that we're looking for. And something like that. Inspirational instructions for people in the Bhagavad Gita which can inspire them. That you were mentioning, like in the Bhagavad Gita, performing your duty, for instance. But the consciousness in which you perform your duty. These type of things bring them in like that. So yes, life coaching, but understand the real goal behind life. What else? Anything else?
Prasadam and food distribution.
Funny, you were thinking the same thing as me. Temple for Prashad, we usually, you're looking at it from a devotee's point of view, but from a public point of view. I was looking out the window last night after the program in the temple in North Sydney, and I saw that mostly everyone was from Indian origin, one kind of, and there was a small group of white people, and they looked like real, what would we say, they kind of just hang around, They only come for the prashad, they were not in the class at your time. They just come for prashad. It's prashad of addicts. But they're taking prashad year in, year out. They're getting so much benefit. They may take a little while, the most of ignorance is very strong, but nonetheless they're getting all this credit. A place where people can come. Where prashadam, Prabhupada said prashad should always be available for at least 20 or 30 people all day long. Anytime of the day. We don't usually do that, but that's what we wanted. Okay, anyone who comes should get prashad. It is a very important part of Prabhupada's concept for our temples. Anything else?
Brings one closer to God.
Oh, nice one. To bring us closer to God or to Krishna, whatever name, whatever way we know. But closer to our origins, to our relationship with God.
Devotional service.
To a place where devotional service can be not just taught, but actually seen, being practiced. As we heard earlier on, show by example. When you go to the temple, people expect, maybe people expect different things, but they generally expect to see what they read. Say, for instance, you've gotten a book, as many of you are born in a family. Say you've gotten a book, you read something, and then it gives you address. You go to the temple, you expect to see a living example, don't you, of what you read. Perhaps that's one area where we could do better. We could probably do better. But that's very important. People get a big impression when you see the two are, in sync with you. Practice what you preach. This is most practically the main way that this Krishna consciousness will grow. By people seeing, practice what you preach, not just preach. Practice it. What do we preach? What do we preach in our general preach? I mean, we preach many things, but what's the essence of our preaching? In terms of what we try to get people to do.
Bhakti yoga.
Yeah, but in terms of what does that, tomorrow's Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj's appearance day, he said very clearly, Bhakti means, Bhakti is denoted by, these three words, Bhakti is denoted by
for God?
In the case of communicating with people in a practical way, bhakti is denoted by,
Devotional service?
already said that.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Bhakti is denoted by kirtan. That's the essential thing. This is called, you may have heard this term, the Hare Krishna movement. Isn't it? It's kirtan which is the main activity of this movement. Everything else has its place. Call it bhakti, call it devotion, call it education, call it life coaching, call it what you will. But kirtan is the essence. And so this movement is all about kirtan. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said that that activity, any sadhana we perform which does not lead to kirtan is an impediment in devotion service. Not an act of devotion, an impediment. Kirtan is the only infallible means of success. It is the emperor of all sadhana. It's kirtan. We try to get people to chant Hare Krishna, isn't it? Isn't that the main thing? Public programs, temple programs, house programs. Maybe not when you first meet a person, maybe. Most people know us by chanting, don't they? All over the world they see us on the street, isn't it? Maybe not as much as they. Most times we meet people nowadays, they say, "Where have you been all these years? I've not seen you for 40 years." There's at least 10, if not 100 times more practicing devotees now than there were 40 years ago. But the amount of exposure is much less now than it was then. And of course it's growing in other ways. Consciousness is spreading in other ways, but in terms of kirtan, we have our kirtans. There are many people performing kirtan all over the world, it's not just us. It's become a fad amongst the yoga studios, amongst New Age people, among business people too. Kirtan has become a very popular event. It may not be pure bhakti, it may not even be in the mood of bhakti, but it's attracting people. And that's our real business. Our real duty is to make kirtan available to everybody. And kirtan. That's the most effective preaching in many ways. It's the most effective psychology also in the bigger picture. Of course you have to have many wheels within the big wheel to help the big wheel to go, but the real wheel is the Sankirtan wheel. That will cure all the ills, everything, all our misconceptions, all our, whatever it is, hang-ups and so on. Any kind of discriminatory feelings towards others and so on, everything can be cleared up with absorption and Sankirtan. The essential purpose of our temples is a place. There are many other things you could think of, no doubt. To love God is the ultimate thing, but in terms of the practical activity in a temple, kirtan is the most important of all. Most important. Prabhupada wanted 24-hour kirtans every week. We weren't ready for it, we're still not ready for it, but we wanted to. That's what the temple's for. Not a question of no kirtan because the day was sleeping. That wasn't a problem, that's not always the case. Kirtan goes on 24 hours. We may be sleeping, so it doesn't go on, it's not. So kirtan is so important. Or whatever you do in life, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a nurse, whether you're whatever, voice therapist, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're an engineer, psychologist, businessman, lawyer, whatever it is you're doing in life, kirtan should be done. Yeah, you get the chant. That will keep us all together. That keeps the unity between all the differences. Sankirtan. Prabhupada in addition to Sankirtan kept the movement together, it kept the individuals together, to keep everything together, people kirtan and Sankirtan. Does it make sense or not? And that's temple, whether it's home, whether it's a temple, whether it's a hall, whatever it is, whether on the street, you can also do kirtan. Even if it's not in a group, you can still do kirtan. Doesn't necessarily mean we're discussing that the other night. Somebody asked that question. The program, where it was. Have a program discussing the there a difference between kirtan and sankirtan? Yes and no. There's no difference in one sense. But kirtan, technically speaking, just means loud chanting, the verbal glorification. Sankirtan means with others or complete. So sometimes it can be different meanings. It can be the same thing, or it can also generally mean a different thing. Sankirtan means many people coming together for kirtan. Because kirtan you can do on your own. Wherever you are. It's very joyful. And it benefits us. Just preaching in itself. Even if nobody understands. Benefits to others. Use your common sense. Any questions? I hope, and what I want to do is to try to encourage everyone. So you can realize you can do whatever you do in life and you can still be Krishna conscious. And you're still preaching by it. Even if you're not speaking, you're preaching by your behavior, you're preaching by your, whatever you can. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for such a wonderful class.
Kind of a down-to-earth kind of sharing session, I think.
I wanted to ask, constantly we're encouraged to read Srila Prabhupada's books, and I'm also endeavoring to read them. There are times that they can be dense in philosophy and it's hard to understand at times. So what should I do? Should I just keep reading?
So the basic question is that, we're encouraged to read Prabhupada's books, and you're just trying to read some Prabhupada's books as much as you can, but sometimes it's hard to understand. So what should we do at that point of time? Is that the idea? Good one. Sometimes hard. It is hard to understand. I mean, is there a book here? Give me any book.
Yes.
I mean, any book means more Krishna conscious. Okay, here's a basic one. I see you've got Gita Life up there. Is that part of the course or something, Gita Life?
Gita
Is that
Life.
Chaitanya Charan or somebody doing it? There's two courses going on here.
Yeah.
This is Keshavaraj, who was recently here.
Yeah.
Did you meet him? Did you all meet Keshavaraj?
Yeah.
At the temple or where?
No, we did a program on Brazil, right? Castleville. We had two programs, one at Brazil and one at Castleville.
One at Brazil and one at Castleville.
Okay, you had two programs with Maharaj. So, how do you find this book?
I have it. I haven't read all of it. I've read some
Is
of
it
it.
something you read or is it something you go through? Funny enough, I haven't read it myself, though we have it in French.
It's really good, I read it.
You've read it?
Yeah, I read
Is it
like
just
I've read
like
some.
reading material or is it?
Well, it summarized the Bhagavad Gita basically.
Summarized?
Yeah, and in acronyms.
In a very way
So,
you can relate.
yeah, so it's
to
got
it.
18 chapters, right? And
Yeah.
then so it gives like a acronym, like a word, and they use different acronyms to summarize the
It helps you
verses
to
of the
relate
chapter.
to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Helps you to digest.
Yeah, it's really
something.
easy. Yeah.
There may be some very good food, but if you can't digest it, it's not much good, is it, really? You get constipated or some problem in the stomach. So a little aid to digest is required. This seems to be for Bhagavad Gita. Again, I say I haven't read it, but because everyone who has, they say it's a very wonderful way of entering into the Bhagavad Gita in a digestible way. You'll probably become more interested to read the whole thing once you go through this. Find out more. Pretty hard wading your way through the whole Gita, and you can imagine how you feel. We're all different. I kind of had when I was at my college years, at the end, at the tail end, I had a kind of a sudden kind of thirst for reading Vedic literature, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Upanishads, including the Bhagavad Gita. Nothing to do with this one, just in general, the books. What's her name? Kalyan Subramanian or something. Different persons who've written Mahabharata in English. So if we just open one page here, we're on Dhyana Yoga, chapter 6. So what do you make of chapter 6? What's he saying there? See what page irritation now says. I've known him since he was a young man. Yeah, see, it's easy. It's not so difficult. It says it's easy. What's difficult about previous chapter, Krishna briefly mentioned Astanga Yoga, the arduous regime of an ascetic yogi. In the present day, millions of people practice some isolated elements of this path, Hatha Yoga and Pranayama, to achieve physical and emotional well-being. In chapter 6, however, the path of Astanga Yoga is explained in its entirety. Krishna's purpose in discussing the 8-step path is primarily to establish its impracticality in the endeavor towards spiritual perfection. In an age surcharged with temptation, disturbance, and spiritual weakness, the easiest and most advanced path of self-realization is Bhakti Yoga. So then he goes into easy. The first one is enemy or friend. What does that refer to?
Mind.
Mind. Next one is Astanga Yoga. What does that refer to?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
8 processes are sharp.
Eight steps, yeah, the
Yeah.
whole process. But particularly it talks about how to sit and how to hold your back. And you can all give it a go if you want. And how to practice it. You know, breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe in properly and breathe out, and then stop breathing altogether. And learn how to dive before you do that, by the way. And you know, you've got to be in a secluded place with no mobiles in your pocket and things like that. Can you live without a mobile? You know, more than like 2 inches away from you. Nowadays, mobile is your best friend, isn't it? Can hardly live without it these days, isn't it? All over the world, the same thing. But you know, secluded place, no disturbance. Focus your mind on the tip of the nose, sitting in a certain way, and the legs and everything on a certain type of cloth, you know, tiger skin, deer skin, keep the tigers away, something like that. All kinds of things. Isn't it? Very hard, you know. Withdrawing your senses from everything. Just focus, whatever your meditation is, just focus. Very hard for people. Very hard. The mind is not easy to control. So Astanga Yoga, success and failure, you hear about the difficulties. How difficult it's possible, very, very difficult. And then you hear about the most successful of all yogas. And here it says, after summarizing the arduous process of Dhyana Yoga, meditation, and Astanga Yoga, the chapter concludes with a ray of hope. The perfection and goal of all yoga systems is to help the individual become fully conscious of God at all times. But every yoga system is certainly beneficial. The most advanced, efficient, and easiest path is known as Bhakti Yoga, yoga of devotion. In this age, the primary practice of Bhakti Yoga is mantra meditation, chanting names of God. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Through this process, any person from any background can attain spiritual perfection and experience all the benefits described in this chapter and elsewhere. So, devotional in the 8th chapter, and summarize also the Lati, as it goes. Videshi Adesha Kapasa Chai Vedadesha. All the purposes that serve of you get everything you get from Astanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, whatever yoga it is, will be completely satisfied by practicing Bhakti Yoga. All purposes served by low bond are ultimately found in the great wisdom. Reservoir of Bhakti devotion. So I would suggest, which it depends what you're reading, if an ordinary person picks up now, okay, we're showing this place here. I don't know what people gather when they look at it first of all. I can imagine they find it a little difficult to follow. A little bit. It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosophers claim. Although they sometimes take the so-called devotional service, their idea is that as long as they are not liberated, they will continue their devotional service, but at the end, when they become liberated, they will become one with God. And for inspiring devotee, that of course is probably digestible. If one is not, it's probably not. So everything's like that. subject matter according to our ability to digest, our ability to put into practice. It's good to hear. Now, many of you have studied at university, or studying at university, or will study at university, probably all of you. And, there's a stage by stage. You know what your goal is? What's your goal of studying? Why are you studying?
Knowledge.
Yeah, we don't have the inner study, but I mean, in one sense, or let's say going to university, what's your purpose?
The job.
Pardon?
The career, job.
Okay, that's going even one step further to get a job.
To get a career and then potentially use that in Krishna consciousness as well.
Right. Well, that's like the one step ahead,
Yeah.
long-term thing, but I think you've got it. You're hoping to pass your exam and get a degree. Everything else, if you don't get your degree, you're not likely to get the next step that you're aiming at. You've got university, you're not going to get a career at university, nor a family, nor a house, nor a job. You're trying to get a degree at university. See where you're at. Live with where you are. We're trying to get a degree. Now, now we go on to the other point. It's not just to get a degree, there's a reason why you want a degree, isn't there? You want a degree so you can get a job. Yeah? There's a reason beyond it. It's not just to get that degree. The degree on its own is not much of value, is it? And if you get a degree, someone said earlier on, still you struggle to get a job. It's kind of it shouldn't be like that, but it often is. But anyway, you're hoping that when you get a degree, you're going to get a job and all the other things you do. But if you don't know jobs exist, it'd be hard. What's the point of all this? You may not have a job, but you do think of that if I get this degree. You think about what you want to do more than a degree in one sense. Why do you study law?